All right, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do part 8 of our RBT practice exam. For all the study materials, check out our website. You can also go to any of these links to get them. I'll post these in the comments and descriptions below. Follow us on Instagram. Like, subscribe if you're enjoying the videos. Really helps, supports me. Thanks, and let's get into it. Okay, 71. What is the best reinforcement schedule for teaching a new skill? So we're going to do a lot of reinforcement schedule questions today. So what is the best one for teaching a new skill? Where do we typically start, especially with younger kids when teaching a new skill? Okay, let's look at our answer choices. VR2, variable ratio 2. Okay, this would not be it. Variable ratio, okay, it's actually really good for maintaining behaviors, right? But you wouldn't start here typically, okay? FR1, continuous schedule. FR1 is the best reinforcement schedule for teaching a new skill. Why is that? Well, when you're teaching a new skill, you want to deliver reinforcement as often as you can, okay? As often as possible. With an FR1, anytime they engage in the target behavior, you're reinforcing. If we look at FR6, they have to do the target behavior 6 times before they get reinforcement. Okay, they're receiving a lot less reinforcement. Therefore, when you're teaching a new skill, you want a lot of reinforcement, and FR1 allows you to deliver reinforcement every single time they engage in the behavior. Therefore, it's FR1. 72. What reinforcement schedule is the most productive and resistant to extinction? Okay. Which one is the most resistant to extinction? Is it a fixed ratio, fixed interval, or variable ratio? Okay. So when we talk about resistance to extinction, right, that means we're putting the behavior on extinction. Okay. So limiting reinforcement. So which one is most resistant to extinction? Okay. So it's not fixed ratio, right? Because that's a set schedule, right? So the the reinforcement is very predictable. Okay. So FR is out. It's not our interval schedules. Okay. So it has to be variable ratio. This is the slot machine effect, right? You're at a slot machine and you push the button and you never know when you're going to win. Okay. This is the most powerful reinforcement schedule, and therefore it's the most resistant to extinction. Okay. Reinforcement is very unpredictable, right? So it's a lot harder to extinguish when they're not, when they don't, when the reinforcement, when they don't know when the reinforcement is coming, okay, when it's unpredictable. So VR, the strongest reinforcement schedule, and also the hardest to extinguish. 73. What is not an example of discrimination? Okay. So good question to think about our terms, our definitions, and why you need to learn your terms and your definitions. Okay. Because this question, if you don't know what discrimination is, okay, you're just going to have to figure it out. If you do, it's a very easy question. Let's look at our answer choices. Identifying different colors in a crayon box. That looks pretty good. It sounds like discrimination. B, calling all women you see mom. No, right? Because what is discrimination? Okay, you're seeing the difference between two different stimuli. Okay, red and blue, mom and dad, mom and grandma. Okay, calling all women you see mom, we're not discriminating. Okay, we're overgeneralizing. C, ordering a Coke instead of Sprite. Yeah, that looks like discrimination. Okay, you're choosing between two different sodas, and then using a $5 bill instead of a $1 bill. Yeah, you're telling the difference between currency. Okay, you can look in your wallet and you can see a 5, a 10, a 20, and a 1, and you know the difference. Okay, you're discriminating. Okay, so what do the questions say? Read it carefully. What is not an example? The only one not an example is calling all women you see mom. Okay, so good question. Okay, it's a good reminder that you have to know your terms. You need to know your definitions. The test gets way easier if you know your terms and definitions. Okay. Also, watch out for the not questions, right? Don't let those trick you. Read the question carefully. See what it's asking. Okay, 74. Reinforcement can be continuous or intermittent. Behavior on what type of schedule is the hardest to extinguish? So similar question to what we went over, okay, a few ago. What type of schedule is harder to extinguish? Okay, is it continuous or intermittent, right? Now, if we know what continuous is, let's look at B and C. FR1 and continuous reinforcement schedules are the same thing, okay? So we know those aren't it. Those are automatically out, okay? And then D, parent design, is not one of our reinforcement schedules. So by process of elimination, you know it's intermittent, right? But why is intermittent harder to extinguish? Well, think about extinction, okay? If I'm delivering on an FR1 schedule, I'm delivering reinforcement every time the client engages in a behavior, okay? So that's very easy to put on extinction because they've learned that every time they engage in behavior, they deliver reinforcements delivered. Well, if I cut off reinforcement, then there's a lot more opportunities to put the behavior on extinction, right? Because they're expecting reinforcement every single time and they're not getting it every single time. Intermittent, right? If I'm on like an FR10 schedule and they have to engage in the behavior 10 times before reinforcement is delivered, then think about extinction. I'm only putting the behavior on extinction every 10th behavior because reinforcement only gets delivered every 10th behavior, okay? A lot harder to extinguish it that way, okay? A lot harder to put it on extinction. Therefore, the behavior on an intermittent schedule is a lot harder to extinguish. 75, when we refer to baseline data, what are we referring to? A, data taken after intervention starts, data taken before intervention is put in place, data taken in the morning, data taken by the parent. Baseline data, simple definition question, okay? If you think about our graphs from our last couple videos, right, you have data and then a change line and then more data, okay? That first set of data is your baseline. Baseline data is data taken before intervention is put into place. It's trying to tell us where we should go, okay? What does the data look like before we start working on it? Okay, it helps us track our progress, right? 76, a student walks up to a teacher and says, "May I go to the bathroom?" What type of behavior is this, okay? Is this a mand? Is it polite? Is it an interverbal? Is it an antecedent? Well, okay, it might be polite, but remember, that's kind of subjective. Also, is that the best answer out of all these? No, they want the best answer, okay? So yeah, it might be polite, but that's not the best answer here. Is it an interverbal? Remember, what is our requirement for an interverbal? Okay, it needs to be an exchange. Anybody ask the student a question? No, the student, unprompted, no SD, walks up to the teacher, okay, and asks, "May I go to the bathroom?" An antecedent. Maybe, right? But it's actually just a behavior, okay? So in this situation, it's not an antecedent, okay? It's the behavior. So it has to be a mand. Remember, what are mands, okay, evoked by? Motivation, motivating operations. What is the motivating operation here? The student has to go to the bathroom. So what do? They walk up and ask, "May I go to the bathroom?" Okay. The difference between the interverbal and the mand is with the interverbal, somebody would have asked them the question. Okay, if the teacher said, "Timmy, do you need to go to the bathroom?" And Timmy says, "Yes, I need to go to the bathroom," or "May I go to the bathroom?" That's an interverbal. They responded. Nobody asked him. There was no exchange. It was simply a request. Therefore, it's a mand. 77, you just received a new client and are unsure how to run some of the programming. When should you consult your BCBA? So you're an RBT, okay, you're in the field, you get sent a message saying, "Hey, you're getting this client, look over the programs." Okay, look over. When should you ask for help, right? Remember, what is our golden rule? When in doubt, okay, go to your supervisor, go to your BCBA, do it immediately. So in this situation, when should you consult them? Should you wait until they come out and supervise you? No, right? That's waiting too long, okay? And then when you're there, you have to figure it out. You're wasting valuable session time, okay? B, before you get to your next session, Yes, right. Before you go out and work and start trying to do these things, you need to figure out what's the right way to do them. Okay. Implement correctly from the start, and your job becomes a lot easier. Okay. So reach out immediately. See, don't worry about it. You'll figure it out. No, it's a team effort. Okay. It's a team game. You're working as a team. Use your BCBA. They're a valuable resource. D, change the program to something you understand better. No. Okay. You can consult with your BCBA, give your opinions, suggestions, but you shouldn't go and just change something because you don't understand something else. So if you're unsure about anything, always reach out. When? Immediately. 78. At your most recent session, the client's mom started to ask you about this new diet where you only eat sunflower seeds. The mom said she read about it on the internet and saw a video claiming the diet could help cure autism. The mom asked for your opinion. What is the best course of action? Okay, so you're in RBT, you're in home, and the parent starts asking you medical questions, diet questions. What do you do? A, tell her you don't have an opinion on the diet and refer her to your supervisor. This looks good, okay? You might have an opinion, right? But it's not your role, okay, to give that opinion, right? And if it's not because maybe the BCBA doesn't trust you, right? It's because ultimately that BCBA is responsible for that client, okay, and responsible for you. And if you accidentally say something incorrect, okay, and something happens, it falls back on the BCBA, okay? So the best course of action here, right, is tell them, I'm not sure, let me ask my supervisor, okay? Remember, always consult out to the supervisor. Let's look at the rest of the answer choices. Always read your answer choices. B, tell her how ridiculous she sounds. No, never insult the parents. Never make them feel stupid, okay? Remember, a lot of them are just looking for help, okay? They're looking for ways to get help. So no matter what you feel, okay, don't make them feel silly, okay? That's not our place. C, explain to her that you aren't familiar with the diet, but you know of the other diets that could help. No, you're not a dietitian. Don't offer diet advice. D, leave the case. That's extreme, okay? It doesn't need to be that drastic. Doesn't need to be that dramatic, okay? Just refer to your supervisor. Let them handle it. Okay, two more. What is the best way to respond to feedback from your BCBA? Should you engage in an argument with your BCBA? Should you talk about your BCBA behind their back? Professionally, use it to improve yourself, even if you don't agree with it. Ignore it. What do they know? If you're getting feedback, the BCBA is offering you advice. How should you take it? Now, it can be tough to get feedback. I get it. Okay, especially if you feel like you're doing a good job. But let's remember the BCBA is there to help. The supervisor is there to help. Okay, you're there to help. And who is it about? It's about the client. So everybody's just trying to do what's best for the client. Okay, so you shouldn't argue, especially in front of clients. Don't talk about the BCBA or your boss behind their back. Don't ignore it. Okay, professionally. Okay, use it to improve, even if you don't agree with it. Now, you can have a conversation about it and ask questions and say, well, this is what I think. Okay, but do it professionally, right? It's a professional working relationship. And then 80, what are three components of good data? Okay, true and verified. Well, the data can be true. Okay, does it make it right? Not quite. It can be verified. Does it make it right? No. So true and verified doesn't make it accurate, right? Okay, IOA, you don't know what this is. This is inter-observer agreement. It's out. Confound, okay, you know what that is. Out. Three components of good data is reliable, accurate, and valid, okay? Reliable, because it's repeatable. You're going to get the same data over again. Accurate, you're measuring, okay, what you intend to measure, okay, and you're getting the right data, okay? And then valid, okay, you're measuring the target behavior, okay? So 80, they might not ask you this, okay? This is a little more advanced question, right? Which is why I said IOA and confound are stuff you're unfamiliar with, okay? This is it's a more advanced question, but I wanted to put it in there just in case they do ask you about what makes good data, okay? And so the three components of good data are reliable, accurate, and valid. Okay, that wraps it up for today. Next week, I'll put out the next set of questions here. Okay, Wednesday, I have another practice question video coming. And then Friday is our second video in the new series. Okay, so look forward to that. I think that's going to be really helpful. Other than that, okay, like, subscribe if you're enjoying it. Okay, visit our website, get the study materials, learn your terms and definitions. Okay, leave a comment below with any questions, anything going on. Okay, let me know. I'm here to help. Other than that, keep working hard and yeah, keep studying hard.